Hey, Michael, thanks for joining us today. As we're getting started, give us a little background on yourself.
Hi, Brian. Thank you for letting me attend today. As you know, my name is Michael. I'm 32. I live here in Copenhagen, in Denmark. Been in sales the last 14 years. Started out as a cold canvas rep back when I was 18 years. And I think I did cold call for around 5 years, called all Danish companies 3 times to ask them if they wanted to buy a phone subscription or data card from me. So that was a rough and challenging start. But however, I evolved and became a team leader and spent 7 years in the telecommunication industry before I moved to Booking.com in Germany. And worked there and actually implemented some of their sales strategies in the e-commerce side. So if you go into booking.com today and try to rent a room, you can see all these boxes below. This is how many looking at the room right now. This is how many left. And if you book now, you can get it for this price. So all these input factors. After that, I moved to Oracle as a sales manager and worked both in the States and from London. And today I'm sitting as the chief sales officer as for a SaaS company in Denmark called Same System. So that was a short background on me.
Short background. And what motivated you to get into leadership?
I like to develop people. I like to understand people and what's important to them, and see how I can fit into their puzzle to help them achieve what they want in their career. I think I have a good understanding of the drive and motivation of people. So bringing that together in the bigger puzzle and see them achieving results is something that makes me motivated. So that's the big reason for going into leadership. However, it was much more easy when I was just a rep.
Was the transition hard, or was it smooth or natural, or
I would say
inevitable?
back when I started my first leader job, it was challenging because I became a leader for the group I was part of as a rep, and they know me, both on the good side and the bad side. So I needed to be shaped, right? I made too many mistakes back then, when I needed to do the stand-ups. I said too many things that I wasn't allowed to do as a leader, and I needed to learn all the politics around it. But back then, Uncle Law. But it was good. It was a challenging time, yes, but I came through it.
Yeah. And what helped you get through it? Was it the reps telling you? Was it other managers telling you? Was it you just figuring it out with the look on their face, or the results?
I would say it was a mix of many things, right? I had a good leader myself that I could talk to, and every time I made a mistake, he took me in for a one-on-one and explained, maybe you should consider doing this. And then I slept on it and came back with a better idea after. But of course, it helps to have a good leader that can shape you. And then my drive for results, if I can see the right attitude in a person, and they're working their hours efficiently, um, that we need to create results, right? We need to bring those hours in for a result. So that was the real drive for me, for being a leader, getting people to achieve the results they want. What is important for them.
And what do you typically find in the way? Let's say the activity is strong.
Mm.
Their skills should be there. And
Yeah, what I find on the way, if the activity is there, I'm a really big fan of also reading the data, right? Are you just emailing? Are you actually doing calls? Or how is your cadence look like? How is your strategy? And then try to work that out, because if you put in the effort, we need to look at where is the weak points, where we're dropping off if we're not converting. And for me, we use this sales cadence tactic that comes within Salesforce high velocity sales profiles. where you can really go in and design, what do you want to do first? Okay, I want to do research. After that, do you want to do a call or a LinkedIn connection or even a video approach, which I really believe is super strong and
Yep.
modern. And then really find out where you're good at as a rep. Are you good at writing? Are you good at pitching? Are you good at presenting? And from there, your sales strategy should be designed after where you're strong, because then you'll get the highest conversion. And of course, by measuring the data, we can then go in and see on all the touch points we have, where are we dropping the leads, the prospects, where they're not engaging with us. Maybe we should try this way or another way to get that conversion.
And what do you think the most important part of your job is?
For me, it's to create transparency. I have today the management of 40 salespeople within same system, and when I came to same system, what I could see was a lot of talented people. They worked hard, they were dedicated, result orientated, but everyone was freestyling, right? There was no really common strategy about how do we want to convert the leads into opportunities and how do we want to drive the opportunities from, let's say, meeting to an actual contract. For some of them, it's enough to know who's the decision maker. It's not enough, right? We need to have a better understanding of the decision making process within the company. Who is the stakeholders? What's the timeline? Why is the motivation for changing the current setup to same system? Because else we're wasting time, right? Do they even have a budget? And then go down and work with all these freestylers and trying to align them in a cadence that we actually know that will work, right? And find our ideal customer, which is also super important, both for marketing, our product team, our CSM team, but especially for our sales team. So we
Yeah.
use the hours correctly.
So it was really trying to get that process identified.
Definitely.
And could you get agreement on it, or was there, because the debate is good, because having different perspectives and experiences open up the possibilities of what isn't foolproof and what could go wrong and get other people to think through it.
Mm. You're absolutely right. There will always be, and especially within sales, there's big egos, right? And they know
Couple.
and they definitely know how they should angle the lead or the opportunity, and they know exactly what price they want to go with. And that's fine. I really believe in that. If I need to change the mindset of a person, I need to be a role model. I need to do it myself. I need to be there as a leader, and if it's the video approach, because when, let's say, when I came to same system, the only things they did was cold calling and emailing, right? So I said, hey, I came directly from Oracle. I could see that we are converting many leads by doing the video approach, because people, they can sit down, see the video when they have the time, right? And then we can, trigger around with the system so we get a notification when they actually sit in front of the computer and press play. What about if they have seen 20 seconds of that video? Would we like another notification? Yes, because we have that 20-second rule, right? It takes 20 seconds to actually figure out if they're interested or not. So shouldn't that be the best time to call, when your prospect is sitting undisturbed in front of the computer? They just saw the video, they just saw your face and heard your voice. They know you're not dangerous. They have same system top of mind. Why not give them a call and ask, hey, did you like the video? Did you like the research? Would you meet up with me 30 minutes next week? And then I did that myself. And, then I started to convert, 10 out of 20 leads. And the other was still sitting cold calling, 500 calls maybe, and they converted 3.
Yeah.
So slowly, they adapted that approach and technology. And today everybody is sitting on it and doing the same.
And how long did it take to get everybody on the same page? Or
I would
are you there
say,
yet?
yeah, I think we're there, but it has taken almost a year, right, to convince everybody to use that. But that's, people need to go out of their comfort zone, right? But for me, a video would, I really believe that cold calling over the next, let's say, 5 to 10 years, it will phase out, it will die. Maybe, but I realized that bringing in a powerful personalized pitch, it's important that you can do that, and you can create needs, and you can listen and activate them by your questions. The problem I have with cold calling, it's also a little bit about luck, right? If you catch the prospect in between two meetings, it's a different person than what you talked to him yesterday, right? Because there he had the time. By using the video approach, you're actually catching the prospect when they have time. And they're also happening some psychotic, I would say, because they see your face, right? And they hear your voice. And when you call, you're unknown. They cannot put a face to you. So what I really see with this approach is that people, they get less reserved. They're taking their hands down when we call them. We get more talking time. We get real conversations, and then we can have a real understanding of their needs and pains and see if there's a match for our product.
Well, that's it, because just getting somebody on a phone is a lot of work,
Yeah,
because everyone's got caller ID and voicemail, and nobody wants to hear a commercial.
absolutely true.
But people want to learn about new stuff. They want to network. They do want to talk with other people,
Definitely, just when
especially
they have the
adults.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I think we've lost that the only way to do that is cold calling. And because it's brute force, it's macho, it's the way we used to do it. But I think it's the least effective from a time ROI standpoint.
I think you're absolutely right. When you do the direct model or a cold approach, right, and the leads is not warm. I think we need to think more creative. We need
Yes.
to show different approaches that is, of course, super personalized and relevant, because they get approached 100 times per day, right? And why should you stick out? We need to be creative. We need to find new ways, and that's, that's something I'm trending for. I'm always looking into to getting inspiration, not only from my team, but also listening into, of course, webinars and networks, and hear what other people are doing with their cold approach, the
Right.
the all bound. Yeah,
Because we're either finding interest or creating it.
exactly.
Finding it is really hard, because less than probably 1/10 of our market is in market at any one time. But the rest we can create interest with.
Exactly. I agree.
Yeah. And was this role more complex than, say, being a leader in a large company?
Mm, I would say, there's you mean being a leader or being a rep?
Well, when you go from like a huge brand,
Yeah, from
30,
as Oracle. Yeah,
right,
yeah.
30-year-old company, billions and billions, and
Um,
you're in one brand within one unit in a matrix, and then you become the guy.
yeah, I would say working for Oracle is, of course, it's a great brand, and I learned a lot of things, and they have become the third largest software company for a reason,
Yeah.
definitely. But it's also full of politics and inefficient processes. It's so large, right? It can take a month to get an answer from the right stakeholder. Uh, where I am now, it's a smaller company. We just got listed on Nasdaq as an IPO, but I can take the decisions on a daily basis. Of course, I talk with the management and the board around my ideas, but it's my responsibility, and I like that. I'm really result orientated. I know when my days end at a job, the only thing I can put down on my CV is the result. It's not how good a guy I am, or if I was funny, or if I could drink 2 beers in a row. It's simply just the result, and that's everything that matters to me. And I think here where I am right now, a smaller company, a smaller brand, I also have the opportunity to, of course, increase our ARR more fast and more rapidly. And especially when I came to the company that was inefficient in their processes, I could take the learnings from Oracle and take what we could use as well, and come in with that power and then lead the sales department towards success.
And how do you stay out of the admin, the operations, the reporting?
I don't. I like it. I'm a weird sales guy. I'm a big hunter, but I'm also really data driven. And I'm satisfied as a Salesforce administrator. So I have actually implemented our whole IT environment here at Same System,
Wow.
going from Sales Cloud to Service Cloud to projects into an order that we can actually invoice to our customers, and connecting the different apps we use like LinkedIn Sales Navigator, DocuSign, our finance system. So we get the whole value chain really efficiently, and we can measure it. And I think that's important when you're a leader in a company, is that you look at your data, you look at maybe your time to cash, time to complete it, your ARR, your churn, and from the data throughout Salesforce, I can really dig in and see, okay, we can improve here, or we are too long to complete our projects within a certain sub industry. Maybe we should spend our resources differently going forward, because we can collect more ARR, and then we will also have a common direction as a company if we change these. So I really like data, and I use it for a foundation to take better decisions. It's not everything, because you still need to have the local feeling and what you really believe in, right? But especially for my salespeople, breaking down their KPIs and providing transparency around how good are you at converting. And then I can actually give them a number around how many touch points they need per day to actually achieve their results. Then they can follow it, or they can maybe do their own approach. But I will sit and benchmark it in the end, right? It's a numbers game in sales, after my opinion.
And how have you increased ARR? Do you go after larger companies? Do you go after clearly larger deals? But to get a larger deal is a different strategy.
Yeah, we work with different sales cycles, right? For small companies, mid-size, and enterprise. If it's outbound, inbound, everything needs to be measured in front of our board. However, I go after our ideal customer, and that right now the majority of the success that we handle as customers, they're mid-size. So our sales strategy is around that. We have a couple of enterprise companies that is proof that we can handle that segment as well. But what we do is workforce management systems. And what is really important is compliancy. If you can't make your salary output, what is it worth? And let's say that we needed to go into America. You divide it up in 52 states, right? With your own labor law rules, your own union rules, and different types of bonuses and so on. So for our company to be able to go into the US, that's actually like entering 52 new countries. And we can't do that. So I really look at the data, right? Where do we collect most ARI? Is it in Denmark? Is it in Norway, in the UK? Are we super compliant? What is our ideal customer over there? Is it within retail or food service? If it's a retailer, does it needs to be a fashion or health and beauty, hobby and craft? And if it's within hospitality, restaurant, bars, cafes, right? And then we design the sales strategies around which personas that we need to talk to. Is it the IT people, HR, finance? It's different approach, because they care around different aspects in the company around the workforce management system.
And how effective is it to market to those people as opposed to one-to-one selling?
Yeah.
They sound like tough personas to market to.
Yeah, it's actually okay, because workforce management systems,
It's a known
it's
category.
yeah, it's a known, but it's still a brand, it's still a new
Yeah,
one, right?
yeah.
For softwares, and the market is primarily owned by Microsoft Excel, spreadsheets, and pen and papers, with many manual processes and
Which is
high
good.
risk for errors, which is great for us, right? Because if we get the prospects in a meeting, they always wow about our solution. The hard part is to get the meeting, right? How do we get the meeting? And that's why I chose to work with the video approach, but especially the sales cadences. So I'm ensuring that I have kind of a blueprint of what a sales strategy should look like within those two verticals. And when I collect new people and I have onboarded them and trained them, they can use these sales cadence from the get-go and then ramp up even quicker, right? It's a lot about unit economic here when you're developing the company. And I just see that is going exactly according to the plan at the moment.
And I assume you're leading leaders, given 40 people. They don't all report to you.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Was that something new for you, or is that
No, I did it in Oracle as well. That was the first time where I actually had to manage other leaders that managed the reps that I was used to. So that was again a different task to stand back and not go in and interfere too much, because I can remember when I was a sales manager, I hated it when my sales director stepped over my
pop
toes.
in?
Right? Yeah, go away with you. But I think I've gone the whole way through, right, Brian? From sitting really hard cold calling 300 to 500 calls per day, up to be the CSO for a listed company. And I work with so many passionate, unique people that have just created a unique drive for creating results. And I have felt on my own body, what is good leadership and what is bad leadership. So I'm actually pretty large, and my idea around leading my leaders that leads the sales regions is that I actually only check in 1 hour per week, and that's for the famous pipeline meeting, right? We walk through everything, how they are and what is the next step. Have you managed any objections? What is the timeline, etc., etc. But else, I share my calendar with everyone. And if they need any support from me, they simply just book me in when I'm free, and I make sure to set my time off to help them, assist them, or find one who can get them moving. And that's my idea of leadership, because I have always, if I hadn't asked for advice, I will be more reserved to actually absorb the advice. However, if I'm asking for advice, I'm listening and I'm motivated to learn. And I'm trying to bring that on to my salespeople, because they have big egos, and I think that's kind of the way that it works the best, at least for me.
Well, that was always the kind of acid test if you're a good sales leader. It's when people want your advice. And maybe even when they take it.
Yeah, also right, but especially when they book in, they're ready to listen.
Right. Instead of telling you what you want to hear and,
Yeah,
and trying to, fit into your cubes in the spreadsheet.
yeah. I will still have time there for that on the weekly pipeline meeting, right? But
Yeah.
it's always more. It's always better conversations when they book me in, because they have that pain, they have that need, they need my attention, and then we can have some really good conversations around how to handle this challenge and develop from there.
And what would you tell somebody who's a first line manager who has reps if they want to become a CSO, CRO, or leader of leaders? What's the major difference there?
Uh, it's being in the machine room or being on the strategy roadmap, I would say. For me, it's still been a big change, right? Because I still need to step back on the floor. I like to sit around my people. I like to hear the vibe. I like to hear what they say on the phone. But that's not where I should spend my time right now. I need to spend it on Salesforce, the strategies, our ideal customers, the cooperation together with the other departments. So we have red line through the whole value chain, right? So it's way more strategy, it's way more politic, and it's many more talks with the board when I actually really like to talk with prospects or customers.
And you must have some support on either the operations or the administration to be able to attend those board meetings and
Uh,
and have all the reports they require.
But I finally got my first Salesforce administrator, so I can put all the reporting tasks and adjusting data tasks over to him, which freeing up more time for me. But again, we develop as a company. We have received funding from a lot of investors, and I'm super eager to perform. So, I work maybe 12 hours per day, and that many people does that. Of course they do. But I'm not, I'm not done until I have done what I need to do on that day. If I fall behind, I need to catch up the next day. If I go on vacation, I cannot, leave my phone or my computer, because if someone needs my help, I need to bring that help to them. I have like a drive in within me, because else I know they're inefficient. So you can say that I'm maybe inefficient in my role from time to time, but that's because I'm spending my time to get my team efficient.
And when you're in the board meetings, I'm sure you get the question, what would it take to take next year's number and double it? Or,
Yeah, more headcount.
well, that's kind of the obvious, but it's not always.
No, no, it's definitely not. For me, if you know your conversion rates, you can actually make sales a calculation math, right? You can calculate your way to how much ARR you can collect with the people you have and with the current conversion. However, we need to improve all the time, right? We need to get inspired. We need to learn new things, new approaches, new way ins. And that's also a reason why we use these sales cadences, so we can measure on what we do. Is it good enough, or can we improve? And by using these sales cadences, I tell the board that I can guarantee that our conversion rate will go up. So in the future, I need less headcount to actually achieve the higher targets.
And more
More
skill, or is
more
that
skill. Yeah. We need, of course, when we hire, we always look at the individual, and we're
yeah?
trying to hire persons that bring in something different, something we don't have today, or the next leader. Uh, However, everyone that we hire right now, they start out as a BDR. I don't care how much experience you have. You need to take your first 6 months. You need to sit down and you need to talk with our customers. You need to talk with our ideal customer, and you need to learn how you pitch same system, what is the real needs in the market. And then when you finally get your meetings, you hand it over to your sales manager, and then you can join that meeting, and then you can learn the full sales cycle. Depending on how good you are, you can maybe go out of that role within 6 months or 12 months, but it's when the conversion and when you're ready.
And what's the hardest part of your job?
Uh, what's the hardest part of my job? It's the low seasons, when we don't, when it's December or summertime, because I have 40 people, and we do maybe, let's say, 100,000 activities, and we get 90,000 replies back that they're out of office. Right? I think it's so boring. And then you can look at different things to do in sales. But in my opinion, you need to focus on getting these contracts signed. We need to get some money in the bank, right? So for me, that's the hardest periods, because I'm walking around like a lion in a cage. I don't know where I really fit in when we can't do that many sales. So
And I'm sure you still have the confidence that come September, things return, but it's like almost 6, 8 weeks of, 50 to 80% activity,
yeah.
depending on where you are. And it is a little scary and uncomfortable.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
And how do you manage the pressure?
you know, the pressure will always be there in sales, right? You're like a hamster in that wheel, because
Yeah, I'm sure you are.
every day there's a new target, or every month there's a new target, and the day after you have achieved the monthly or quarterly or yearly target, it's forgotten, right? And it's a new day. And I like that pressure. I work best under that,
Do
because
you?
I'm hungry. I want to create these results, and I still have that belief it's okay to fail from time to time. If you sit down and reflect on it, and you speak with your management team or the board, and then you develop from there, because you need to fail, right? You need to be low before you can feel high. So the pressure is just, that's something that will always be in sales, and I have been been with it for the last 14 years. So it's not something I think too much about. Uh, right now we're also hitting targets. Let's maybe talk in a year and let's see if we have hit the full quota again for a year. But however, that's how I see it.
Cool. Hey, I appreciate your time today, Michael. Where can people go to connect and follow you? And if you have any openings, feel free to pitch them.
yeah. Yeah, you can go on LinkedIn and follow me. My name is Michael Thomas. I work for same system, and I'm always happy to have conversations or share any sales experience or techniques. And I really also want to get inspired and learn new things from other people. So yeah, send a connect request and let's engage.